Every Yukon fan knows the names Strong, Fudd, and Williams, but I'm going to tell you why this season's championship hopes rest entirely on the shoulders of three players you're not talking about. The real X factor is the sophomore class.
Prime Field!
Welcome Prime Field Nation. In April 2025, UConn captured a national championship. The headline names were familiar, yet the decisive margin often came from beyond the top two. This documentary asks a focused question: can three sophomores, Kayleigh Heckel, Allie Ziebell, and Morgan Cheli, supply the tangible depth that determines whether UConn repeats? This is not a story about stars. It is a study of role players, rotation math, and the narrow margins that separate a title defense from an early exit. The premise is precise. The development of UConn's other three sophomores will decide how the Huskies withstand March. Championship teams win on depth. The 2024-25 Huskies leaned on their stars, but complementary scoring carried the team through a 40-game season and the NCAA tournament. The pattern is consistent with historical precedent. UConn's 2016-17 title combined top-end scorers with reliable third, fourth, and fifth options, players who absorbed minutes, sustained offense, and reduced starter fatigue. The formula is straightforward. When the third, fourth, and fifth options produce, starters are preserved. When they do not, the rotation compresses. The 2025-26 Huskies must replicate balanced production beyond the marquee names to remain durable in March. The off-season departures created an identifiable gap. Kaitlyn, Chen, and Aubrey Griffin were not simply roster members. Chen started all 40 games in the championship season and finished a collegiate career with 1,553 points and 494 assists. Griffin appeared in every contest, provided efficient scoring, 56.0% from the field, and posted an offensive rating of 120.3. and rising to 138.9 in playoff minutes. Those departures leave two questions. Who supplies reliable secondary ball handling? Who steadies the second unit when starters sit? UConn's talent pool remains deep. The immediate issue is proven, rotation-ready guards who can maintain offensive continuity and defensive stability. The three sophomores under scrutiny must supply the answers. Kaylee Heckle arrived at UConn with measurable credentials. As a freshman at USC in 2024-25, Heckle averaged 6.1 points, 1.9 assists, and 1.3 steals across 34 games, including 7 starts. She recorded a season-high 16 points against Cal Poly and showed passing ability with games such as 10 points and 5 assists at Wisconsin. Internationally, Heckle started every game for USA at the 2025 FIBA U19 World Cup, averaging 9.0 points, 3.1 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 2.6 steals. The role envisioned at UConn is specific. Heckle is the projected backup to KK Arnold. Arnold's sophomore numbers: 5.5 points, 2.4 rebounds, and 2.8 assists per game, with 49.6% field goal shooting and a 53.4% true shooting percentage, demonstrate efficient reserve production, leaving 45.5% to be covered by others. Heckle must fill that vacancy. Preseason flashes were present. In an exhibition against Southern Connecticut State, Heckle produced 4 steals, 7 points on 3 for 6 shooting, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds. Those statistics indicate passing instincts and defensive activity. The measurable threshold for impact is defined in practical terms: sustained assist production, steal rates that preserve possession, and decision-making against the organized defenses. If Heckle can supply steady backup point minutes, the rotation retains flexibility. If not, the Huskies risk dependency on the starters. Alli Ziebell's freshman year read as limited opportunity. Across 33 games in 2024-25, Ziebell averaged 2.8 points in 8.2 minutes, shooting 39.5% overall and 34.4% from 3 on limited attempts, 22 of 64. An early season illness and the depth of a championship roster constrained rhythm and volume. Preseason evidence suggested a different trajectory. In the Southern Connecticut State exhibition, Ziebell scored 13 points on 5 of 10 shooting in 15 minutes, including 2 of 4 from 3. Coach Geno Auriemma's post-game remarks were direct. She's a really good shooter. She's pretty smart. She's quicker than she looks at getting that first step by you. And she's smart defensively. Ziebell's value is role-specific. The roster's offensive structure features interior and wing drivers who invite defensive collapse. Ziebell projects as perimeter spacing. If she shoots in the high 30s from 3 while playing 12-16 minutes, she creates driving lanes and reduces help side pressure on primary scorers. If she remains at prior some minute totals in production, the offensive scheme narrows and the starters face increased defensive attention. Morgan Cheli is the variable that alters matchup math. Listed at 6'2", Cheli appeared in 24 games as a freshman, averaging 2.5 points and 2.4 rebounds in limited minutes. Her game, as described in the records, blends guard facilitation, wing defense, and slashing. That mix offers coachable versatility. Game logs show variance. Cheli produced efficient stretches, including a 2-for-3 7-point outing against Maryland, but also logged 0 points in multiple contests. Preseason availability was affected. She missed the Southern Connecticut State exhibition due to an ankle issue. Cheli's ceiling lies in positional flexibility. If she can defend perimeter wings and execute attacking closeouts, Yukon gains lineup permutations that permit switching and perimeter alignment without sacrificing size. Deployed alongside Fudd and Strong, Cheli enables perimeter-heavy units with defensive switchability, a tactical asset against power conference opponents. Conversely, if Cheli remains limited to brief rotational minutes, the tactical advantage is narrow. Non-conference and preseason tests will determine practical answers. Ohio State, USC, North Carolina State, Maryland, Iowa, and Tennessee constitute the early barometer. Exhibition performances such as Zebel's scoring burst and Heckel's defensive activity provide data points, but exhibition play is not equivalent to mid-season ranked competition. The true assessments will come when opponents apply organized pressure and scouting preparation. The measurable criteria are explicit. For Heckle, assist rates above baseline against power conference defenses and a positive steal-to-turnover ratio. For Zebel, 3-point percentage in the 38% range with defensive reliability across 15-minute stints. For Cheli, lateral quickness and foul-adjusted minutes that allow sustained defensive matchups. The preseason separates experimental deployments from sustainable rotation options. The argument is reducible to rotation math. Reliable backup point guard minutes preserve starter freshness. Perimeter spacing reduces contest frequency on primary drivers. Defensive versatility broadens matchup options. Each element contributes to a larger equation: minutes distribution, turnover avoidance, and defensive stability. If 2 of the 3 sophomores achieve the projected advancements, the team's rotation compresses favorably. Starters log fewer minutes. Fatigue risk decreases. The statistical probabilities of late-season injury and performance declines fall. If all 3 remain marginal contributors, the opposite occurs. Starter minutes balloon. Margin for error shrinks, and the roster's depth becomes a limiting factor rather than an asset. The season's decisive metric will be the sophomore leap. The hypothesis is direct. Reliable backup point guard production combined with consistent perimeter shooting and functional lineup versatility produces a repeat-capable roster. The inverse is equally direct. Stagnation among these sophomores forces the starters into extended minutes and increases vulnerability in the Elite Eight and beyond. This projection is diagnostic, not prophetic. It ties present preseason evidence to defined thresholds of performance. The outcome will be measurable across minutes, assist-to-turnover ratios, 3-point accuracy, and matchup minutes logged by Cheli. Those measurements will reveal whether the Huskies possess the rotational depth that championships require. History assesses dynasties by outcomes and by the less visible mechanisms that produce them. UConn's record reflects both star talent and structural depth. The 2025 title added another chapter. The 2025-26 season will be judged not only by whether the Huskies repeat, but by how the supporting cast developed in the shadow of established names. If Kayleigh Heckel, Allie Ziebell, and Morgan Cheli transition into dependable rotation pieces, the legacy will include a demonstration of sustained roster engineering, the capacity to replace valuable contributors without a decline in competitiveness. If they do not, the season will serve as a case study in how depth deficits surface under March pressure. Either result will shape evaluations of UConn's recruiting, development pipeline, and roster construction in the coming years. This documentary's through line is clear. Champions are rarely only marquee names. Often they are the sum of role players who answer specific problems at specific moments. For UConn's repeat bid, the moments will arrive in November and December. The sophomores' responses will determine more than minutes. They will determine a legacy.
Prime Field.